heart of glass, if it shattered, darker days will come our way.
Oh, you know what time it is. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Can I just get an egg?
Memories that never fade.
Goodbye, Valdez. Appropriate that I can't see a single mountain on the way out.
I know why I'm alone. Mistakes that I've made.
Camera.
I've been this
Here we go.
I pray for us.
All right, taking some decently moody, rainy shots down here in the trenches of these bushes and fireweed here. Just kind of creating this surrounding composition around the waterfall. Well, it's got these really cool, moody, overcast conditions. And as you can tell, it's raining. I'm gonna put some camera gore on the screen now, so trigger warning. Camera is just a little bit wet here. And before each take, I have to gently wipe off my lens here and take a shot. All right, it's kind of hard to film while it's raining and all my stuff is wet. So here's the shot. Hope you enjoy, and we'll get back on the road.
Redemption to heal my troubled ways, blinded by.
Currently drying out the lens cloth in the camera using the car defroster. Pro tip, literally within a few minutes, the camera is completely dry. Works like a charm.
Blinded by perception. Is there no other? Is there no other way? Distant dreams, clear horizon, open seas. Why can't we please?
All right, so we're back at the waterfall. We photographed what feels like forever ago, but wasn't actually that long ago in this episode. And the light is not nearly as good as it was the last time I was here. So just kind of scouting spots for possibly when I come back. Also eating some carrots because people have asked if I eat any vegetables. Yes, I eat vegetables. Ryan is smiling at me.
Here, veggies.
Pistachios. We gotta get out of this. Sorry. They waved, it was cool. But yeah, carrots, I eat vegetables. All right, I don't know what's next. Bye.
I know why this world's alone. Mistakes that we've made have burned this home. I pray for our redemption to heal our troubled ways, blinded by perception. Is there no other? Is there no other way? I pray for our redemption.
All
All right, time for some more veggies.
All right, some jerk blocked my view of Ross, so I can't actually tell if he's okay. Okay, he's okay. Let's go check the water level really quick, compared to a couple weeks ago. There's the water level now. Hopefully I still have the clip of it from a few weeks ago that I'll put on the screen right now. Hey. Back to the old camping spot. Look, they added a table. Gonna go see what Ryan's up to. Might scare him a little bit. Let's see what happens. I'm here for all your vegan food.
Huh?
I'm here to steal all your vegan food.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's not obvious. We made it to Wrangell 𝐒𝐨𝐚𝐫. First time for Ryan. I am coming back. I was here a couple weeks ago. We're gonna spend probably tomorrow here. Might leave in the afternoon, might not. Really depends on the conditions. It's been raining and windy, so I don't expect to get any sunset conditions. But before you leave, I wanted to maybe try something. It's something I've really wanted to do in a lot of these videos, but I just haven't found the time or the right moment. And it is to talk about music. So if you're not into music, or if you don't really want to hear what I have to say or anything like that, you can totally click away. Hopefully you liked the video if you did, or subscribed if you loved it. But if you want to keep listening, that would be great. Music is a huge, huge part of my life. I mean, I'm literally named after a band, and it's been something that is, I don't know if there's anything bigger in my life as a subject or hobby or a thing than music. It's bigger than movies, it's bigger than photography, it is very important to me, and I think it's one of the best ways that I experience emotion. I'm a very neutral person. I've been referred to as a robot by past people that I've dated, and I think a lot of the times my way of expressing or feeling or connecting with my own emotions is through music. And I thought it would be really cool to just get to express that, or talk about it, or suggest albums or musicians to people out there that might be interested in branching out in their musical horizons, or just talking about it in the comments if it's someone that you already love or know. So for this very first time, I want to talk about an album called Carrie Lowell by Sufjan Stevens. And I'm going to give a listenability score here. Sufjan is easy to listen to. I wouldn't say he's the easiest person ever, but I think in a general sense, you could get into his music pretty easily if you are into the singer-songwriter style and you like his voice. That's really it. But specifically this album, Carrie Lowell, and I'm an album person, so a lot of the times if I find a musician on a playlist or something like that, I dive into their albums, their discography, and that's something I'm really into. And this particular album is absolutely his best album, and I don't think it's close. It's such a personal album. The reason it's called Carrie Lowell is it was released in 2014, and it's about the death of his mother, who I believe died in 2012. I'm going to say a few facts in this, but don't quote me on them. I'm trying to remember all of them as I talk about them. She died in 2012, but he wasn't particularly close with his mom because his mom abandoned and left him and his brother.
3, maybe 4. She left us at that video store.
At about 4 years old, and he ended up being raised by his stepfather, who is Lowell. And I actually think Lowell is still in his life. It helps produce some of his music and manages some of his stuff, so still a big part of his life. But what's really beautiful about the album, there's a few things. One is if you listen to the album and you don't know what it's about and you don't really, really dig into the lyrics, you could listen to it and think it's a positive album. You could listen to it and think it's a happy album based off of how he sounds and how the instruments are orchestrated.
Signs and wonders, sea lion gate.
But when you really know the subject matter and you really listen to what he's saying, it's tragically beautiful. Like I can't listen to this album and not feel sadness, but in a appreciative way. There's so much personal lyricism and talk here and expression of emotion that's why it sets itself apart from a lot of most of his other albums that I think touch on some songs, but from start to finish, this album just feels like such a personal album to him. And from the moment the first chord starts on Death with Dignity, the first song on the album, and when that opening string starts, I always get chills. And I would say that the first song on the album is probably the strongest. It's the one that most people know if you do listen to Sufjan. But I think the whole album is just a masterpiece. And I don't use that word lightly because he's able to express things that I can't relate. Like, he uses words and lyricism on the title, the track 4th of July, which is actually about his mother's passing. And he uses things like my little dragonfly, he'll say that, or my little hawk, or my little dove.
Love, do you find it all right, my dragonfly?
And I don't know if he's referencing words that were chosen or used by his mom growing up, or he used to talk to his mom. I don't know. It's so personal to him, but yet I connect with it. They're not allegories to my life. They're not things that I've heard in my life. They're not things that are referred to by my parents or anything like that. But the way he presents them, the way he talks about them, and the way you connect with him on this album is unlike any other album I've really listened to. And it'll take you a few listens. It definitely will. But man, it's just talking about it makes me emotional. And I think the most beautiful thing about the entire album is that if I told you that someone left their kids at 4 years old, I think most of them grow up with animosity and anger and hatred towards that parent. They look at that parent, and it's very tough to forgive them because they abandoned them, and how that would affect their entire life. All the trauma that they've probably been through is from being abandoned by their parent. But he doesn't have any anger towards his mom. If anything, it's that he regrets not getting that connection, and he expresses sadness that she was going through what she did, and that he understands it as an adult, and that he's not angry at her, and he just wishes it was different and misses those things and recalls some of those stories that he went through.
Community water on my head, and he called me Subaru.
And it's just an absolutely beautiful album. I'm going to link the first song in the album down below that you could check out. And if you like that song, I would highly recommend just listening to the whole album front to back. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I'm going to have to listen to it when I'm done talking. But not all of these music things are going to be this deep of a dive and this talkative, but this one I had a lot to say. I've been listening to it a lot recently, and it's just, if you've heard it, let me know what you think down below. If you end up listening to it because I talked about it in this episode, I would love to know, and I would love to know what you think. And I would love to know if you were into this, if this was dumb for you, if you could care less, or if this is something you would like to see in more episodes, just to connect with different music that maybe you've never heard of, or you have heard of and you would love to talk about yourself. Anyways, that's enough of me rambling, and I will see you again tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed. Later. Man, I love that album. We're just gonna put it on now.